Okay, so hi, my name is Saloni. This is one of our discussions on the Food Allergy Life YouTube channel about surviving friends when you have food allergies. So, like I already said, my name's Saloni. I am an incoming junior. I'm allergic to all tree nuts, and I found out I had food allergies practically all my life. So, I guess when I was like 6 months or so.
I'll go next. My name's Catherine. I'm a rising senior in high school. I'm allergic to dairy, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, quinoa, and latex, and I found out about my food allergies when I was like 3 months old.
My name is Audrey. I'm a rising senior as well, and I'm allergic to wheat, eggs, peanuts, all tree nuts, pea, chickpea, barley, and poppy seeds. And I'm pretty sure I found out I had food allergies when I was really young too, so basically my whole life.
Hi, my name is Sam. I'm going into 10th grade. I'm allergic to milk, eggs, peanuts, and tree nuts. And I found out when I was 8 months old.
Our first question is how is the relationship between your friends, or what is the relationship between your friends and your food allergies? I think for me, I used to have a lot of issues with just like telling my friends about my food allergies. It was kind of an embarrassing thing for me and it was pretty anxiety inducing. But as I got older, I realized that it really wasn't something that I should be ashamed of. And now it's pretty much my friends and my food allergies kind of coexist. We kind of figure out what everyone is comfortable with, what's going to be the safest option for all of us. And it's not really that much of a big deal anymore.
Yeah, I can relate a lot with Salani. I think, especially in elementary school, only a couple of my closest friends knew that I had food allergies. And even then, they weren't really sure what food allergies were or what they should be doing. But I think as we get older, especially going into high school, now most of my friends know about my food allergies, and there's just a lot more awareness.
I think my friends have always really known about my food allergies because I've always been the only one in my grade to have allergies, and so I kind of stood out like that. But I think, especially in high school, my friends are really understanding, like when we go to a restaurant and stuff like that. So they're all super great about keeping me safe and everything.
It is difficult to talk about it, but it's important. So I do try to have those conversations with my friends, and now they all know and are really supportive.
And I think also all of our answers show how your relationship between your friends and your food allergies can really change with age. And as people get more educated about them, and people with allergies can also play like such an integral part in educating about food allergies. So I think that that shows a really cool like increase in supportiveness and education as you get older. The second question is how do you usually tell your friends about your food allergies, or do you even tell them about your food allergies? I started out not really telling my friends about my food allergies until it was absolutely necessary to. But now I kind of, if it fits naturally into the conversation, I kind of weave it in. I still don't I don't think I do that a lot with telling them about my food allergies and all of like the really big logistics about it. But all my friends know that I am allergic to all nuts and that there are certain restaurants that aren't safe for that because they won't wash their spoons or will cross contaminate, and that there are certain restaurants where I feel safe going, so we kind of navigate the more food related parts.
I think whenever I tell my friends about my food allergies, it always revolves around food, like at different like at lunch or I go to dinner at my school sometimes, and so it's really like revolving around that because I'll always have something different to eat, and then they'll ask about that. And I think also at restaurants, they always know that Chipotle is my go-to restaurant. That's the only one I can have. So like that.
I
And
think for me, I also really love Chipotle, but a lot of my friends found out that I have food allergies when it comes to plans like going out and eating, and even parties and social events. I feel like those are kind of the main areas where they get to know about me and my allergies.
I typically talk about it when there's food around and like I have a lunchbox and everyone else is getting food, that's when it comes up naturally.
Is how do your friends usually react to you telling them about your food allergies? Absolutely no. I completely agree with what all three of you have said. I think it really varies their reactions based on how close I am to that person. With my close friends, they try and be as supportive as possible and make sure that I'm safe in any food related situation. But when there's people who, aren't very close to me and you tell them about your food allergies, there's a lot of responses like, oh wow, like what can you eat? Or like, oh, so you've never had a nut in your entire life? Like, no. So yeah, I think the responses really vary, but the people that actually care about you and your safety will try and be supportive. What do you do if a friend or kind of an acquaintance isn't being supportive about your food allergy? I personally haven't had a lot of experience with this because most of my friends have been pretty supportive, but generally I find that if someone isn't supportive of my food allergies, I don't continue to stay friends with them for very much longer, or I try and educate them about the food allergy community and what my food allergies are and why they're such an important thing to learn about as well.
Yeah, I feel like now that we're a little bit more older and mature, a lot of times when people are being insensitive, they think it'll be funny or as a joke. But once you do inform them and let them know that it's serious, they usually take it well from what I've encountered.
Have you ever felt embarrassed to talk about your food allergies with your friends? And if you did, how did you overcome that?
I feel like a lot of it comes with time because when I first was starting out and it was pretty difficult, but I feel like now it's definitely gotten a lot easier to tell people and let them know about my allergies.
Yeah, I've always been like a little hesitant to like put myself out there and like talk about my allergies and everything, but yeah, definitely like what Audrey said, it takes time and um like in the school year I talked about it at my school finally for Food Allergy Awareness Week, so that was a little big of a step, but um yeah, it just takes time and it's important to talk about your food allergies.
Yeah, I know I've definitely been embarrassed to talk about it sometimes, but I feel like that's when it's important to remind myself, like, no, this is important. Like, you're not just, you know, saying it to get attention, but this is actually real and this is important.
As I've gotten older, I've realized food allergies are kind of a part of who I am now, and they are directly correlated with my safety. So it's important for me to let my friends and people that I care about know that that's something that concerns me and that I need to do what it takes in order to feel comfortable in that situation. And I think it's also important to set some boundaries with your friends about what restaurants you feel safe at, what you feel safe doing, what you feel safe with them doing around you. And those can be difficult conversations, but they're ultimately really important ones. Do you have friends with food allergies, and how has that been helpful to you?
I have a few friends who have food allergies. One, she's allergic to gluten, and so she takes it a little more seriously, and she's always appreciated like all of the advocacy that I've done with Tag and everything.
I have the same thing where I have a friend who's allergic to nuts, but I think maybe her sensitivity is a lot lower than us and maybe people who have anaphylaxis. So she still eats it and has symptoms. But I think there's also other people who I know who have several food allergies, and even people who I've met through FAIR and TAG. So I feel like they're a lot more understanding and they really get what's going on.
Question is, do your friends know how to use an EpiPen?
Some of my friends have actually asked like how to use it, so I've told them. But I would say most of my friends don't know.
Next question is, I was talking to some people who don't have food allergies, and their main question was like, how conscientious should they be with your food allergies? And I feel like with that, it's definitely just up to the person with the food allergies and kind of asking them what they feel comfortable and safe with. And like I mentioned earlier, making those boundaries.
I think it would depend on, how severe the food allergies are. And thankfully, I don't have airborne allergies. But what I do is just ask people to wash their hands after they eat something they know I'm allergic to, and that they don't touch my food or, try to like give me a hug or something.
Really super hard because friends always want to like pull out their like cheesy snacks or whatever out of their bag and everything. But yeah, it's just important. I always tell them to wash their hands and everything, but some of my friends still they'll eat their peanut M&Ms around me and stuff, which I need to get better at reminding them like to not to do that.
Yeah, and there's one more thing. When you have like a big bag and people are trying to eat it, you have to make sure to tell them, "Oh, I'll give you a portion," or "Oh, can you please wash your hands before?" And I feel like a lot of them don't really understand what's the big deal. But for people with contact allergies, I think it's super important that they let them know.
Do you feel more food allergy anxiety around your friends? Because I know I definitely, with my food allergies, have a lot of anxiety around that. And it was when I was little, it was really difficult for me to eat out anywhere or just eat anything that was outside of the house. But I had checked, and with my friends, it became a lot worse because there was that whole embarrassed and uncomfortable piece where I didn't want to tell them I had food allergies when I was younger. But then I also was super anxious about eating anywhere, so it was kind of difficult for me to navigate that. Now it's a lot better, which is good. But
Yeah, I agree. In middle school, especially, I had, I think, extra anxiety, especially in the lunchroom, because everyone would. That was in middle school. I wasn't at an allergy table anymore, so people would be around me with like pretty much anything that I was allergic to, which was really freaky for me. But then finally in high school, it was just much better, because my friends were more understanding, and I get definitely like became less anxious around them because more people understand when they're older, and like it takes time to understand everything.
okay, so the very last question actually relates really well to what we were just talking about with the food allergy free table. So, what are your thoughts on like the peanut free or allergy free table?
I think it definitely created like a separate category for like the allergy kids in elementary school. It definitely like singled us out, and um I personally feel like I didn't make as many friends in elementary school because I was always at like a separate table. Maybe I wasn't as social, but still, I think lunch was like the time to meet friends, and I was always with like one friend or maybe two I could invite. So I feel like I don't know if there's a way to get like a better system, but it keeps kids safe, which is the most important part. But I think um, there's definitely feel like emotional issues that come from that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like, first of all, it is pretty necessary to have that table, especially for young kids, because their peers will often not really understand the severity. But I do wish there was a way where we can still have like that social experience, because the peanut free table was pretty excluding, I think.
Yeah, I went to a couple of different schools that had different options because I'm a military kid, so I've moved around quite a bit. And some of them were definitely more strict, and like sometimes the allergy table would be like halfway across the cafeteria, so you'd be like totally separated. And at one school I went to, it was part of the same table, just like at the other end. But I do think it's good for safety. But like you guys said, it's hard for, like being with friends.
I definitely agree. And it did kind of like other a lot of the kids with food allergies. So I think maybe something schools could do is talk more with especially elementary aged kids about food allergies themselves, because that might make it a little bit less stigmatized and a little bit easier for elementary schoolers to understand. All right, so that concludes our discussion on friends and all the questions we have for today. Thanks everyone who's watching this for listening, and thank you all of everyone who came to discuss with us today.